It's Tuesday, June 1st, 2021, and this is The Inbox with Greg Nibbler. All right, hello everyone. Yes, indeed, this is The Inbox. I am Greg Nibbler. I appreciate everybody joining us. Hit subscribe on whatever platform you're watching on, whether that's on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever it is. Thanks, appreciate it, share, all that stuff. Let's get right into it though. For today's show, I want to start off with a couple of things that I feel like may have been a little bit confusing for people as they roll out. And the first one is this: with Amazon Sidewalk. As of June 8th, this will turn on automatically on all of your Amazon devices unless you opt out of it. So what is it? Well, Amazon Sidewalk was introduced about a year ago, a little bit less than that, as something that Amazon's going to be doing to create a mesh network within your neighborhood. So how do they do this? Well, like I said, all of those Amazon devices, including things like, say, a Ring security camera or floodlight, spotlight that's out away from your house, will now be sharing little bits of your internet, your bandwidth, with your neighbor's devices. These devices are going to start communicating with each other. So this is going to happen by using Bluetooth technology, very low-end internet communication, but enough to where you could, in theory, keep a device online even if your internet went out. Say you have a problem with yours. Well, all of a sudden that thing hops on your neighbor's bandwidth and then goes from there. So we'll talk about a couple of things here. One, why are they doing that? Well, the idea is for that, to keep something online, but also things like Tile, using a Tile device that would now be able to be much more usable further away from your home. So currently you need to be within Bluetooth range unless you turn it on, then somebody else can maybe pick it up with their phone or something along those lines. But now if you did have an entire network in your entire neighborhood, say it's a few blocks away that you dropped your keys with the Tile device on it, boom, it would be able to pick that up and hook onto somebody else's Wi-Fi, thereby allowing you to find it. Amazon said this is going to make their devices much more usable, more reliable, and all of this with, like I said, sharing internet, creating this mesh network called Amazon Sidewalk. So how much information is shared? They said not much. You're not going to be able to tell which of your neighbor's devices are accessing that little bit of internet from you and vice versa. So as far as the worry of, can somebody access your Ring camera that you have inside your house? No. Not according to this. There's not even enough bandwidth in order to do it, according to Amazon. And also, it's not sharing that personal of information. There's very detailed things you can find as far as how it all works. That doesn't mean people don't have security concerns, though, because anytime that you're sharing information from one device to another, and especially freely now with all of these communicating with each other, there's the worry about security concerns. They're also building this out to be a third-party platform, so other people could, other companies, other developers could create products that would work on this mesh network as well. So that's kind of where they're heading with it. Not surprising. Again, that's what Amazon does with a lot of their products. But that is where we're at with this. Now, like I said, June 8th, this turns on. That includes your devices. The only way to keep your device from being on it is you have to opt out of it, which you can do. If you go into your, I won't say the word, but your A-word app, you can go through there. You can also go through your Ring app and then turn it off and opt out. There's instructions online for how to do that. But otherwise, all your devices are going to start talking together. So that's what Amazon Sidewalk is. That's what a lot of people are talking about is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? We'll find out, but that's happening regardless. June 8th, it turns on. So if you don't want to be part of it, opt out now. All right, continuing on something else that's a little bit confusing, has to do with Google Photos and a change that happened today. Today, as of June 1st, 2021, no longer will you have forever free storage of your Google Photos and videos as part of their service. So normally when you sign up for a Google account, you get 15 gigs of free storage, and Google Photos and videos used to be excluded from that, where it was just free for however many you wanted to upload, as long as it was the high resolution or the high quality that they have. It's not the original quality, but nonetheless. Now, everything that you've already previously uploaded is going to be kind of grandfathered in, if that's the proper term. It's going to be, okay, all that stuff that you already have up there is not going to count, but anything as of today going forward will count against that 15 gig cap. And that includes your email, Google Drive, everything else that you've got. So that's a lot. If you're like me and you have a ton of emails with old attachments, well, that's certainly going to contribute to how many photos and videos you're going to be allowed to have up. They do have new management devices, new ways that you can keep track of how much is uploaded. Nonetheless, that's where it's at. So going forward, that's what you have. So the options you've got after you do reach 15 gigs is either you got to start deleting stuff, you got to maybe go through your email, do something along those lines, or you're not going to be able to upload more images, or really it'll probably crash a lot of services for you or suspend services eventually. I imagine they'll give you a lot of warning. But they also do have the Google One service, which is an option. I think it's $2 for 100 gigs of service as of now, or 100 gigs of storage as of now, and then it goes up from there. But the bottom line is the free ride of Google Photos and Videos ends today. I mean, kind of expected, I suppose, but that's where we're at. So make sure you pay attention to what you are uploading and saving with your Google account. Another big announcement today has to do with AMD and some of the things they have unveiled. There's some new graphics cards, there's some new video cards, but the thing I wanted to talk about was this teaming up with Tesla. Now we know Tesla's been building up their infotainment system for quite a while. Now we know that the new Teslas coming out are going to have an AMD Ryzen APU powering them. That's a pretty powerful way to run an infotainment system in a car. The long story short of it, though, when you talk about what an AMD Ryzen APU can do for you with the Radeon 6600M chip and a whole bunch of other technical things that we could get into, but if you're into that, you probably already know about it. Here's what it does. It's going to, in theory, allow you to play AAA video games in your car. No, I'm talking about, like, I don't know, maybe The Witcher 3 or Cyberpunk 2077, both games that Elon Musk said you would be able to play with the infotainment system in your car. This adds to a whole slew of things that they've got in these Teslas, but it does make one question, who's going to be sitting in their car playing these games? I suppose if you're stuck somewhere, maybe you could play it while it's charging. That would be something you could do. I don't like the idea of people having more distractions in their car already with Teslas, with the autopilot feature that's available. There's been some issues with people not paying attention to the road, so maybe they disable that. Probably that's what will happen while you're driving. But nonetheless, soon you may be able to play high-end video games within your Tesla. It's still kind of cool, especially when we do get to full autopilot. Then that's awesome and super distracting. Nonetheless, that's where we're at with AMD partnering up with them. Finally, I've got this. We want to talk about a gadget. How about this? This is the Sony Motion Sonic. What it does is it allows you to accent the music you have through this little device. So it's kind of like a Fitbit, fits into either a wristband or a thing that goes around your hand, depending on what kind of instrument you're playing. Then it pairs up with an Apple device, an iOS device of some kind. So while you're playing guitar or piano, you then use your hand to change the sound of it, whether it's to add some effects on it or move your fingers and maybe do a little bit of tremolo or have some kind of distortion that happens with it. You can do all of this while you're playing the instrument normally and then have these different ways that the sound is changed through your hand. It looks a little bit dorky, but it actually could be kind of cool. I play a little bit of music myself. I would be interested to see what you can do with it. I'm imagining all the performances with weird hand dances that go along with the music. Still, anything that kind of changes that up a little bit or could potentially allow a musician or an artist to add something else to their repertoire, if you will. Kind of cool. So this is a device that's going to be launching on Indiegogo, which is interesting for Sony to do. That's not the first time they've done something like this. A lot of times companies will do that just to gauge reaction, and then if it goes forward, well, then they make the product, and this one's going forward. So you can pick it up now. The first 400 people can get it for around $218. That may already be sold out, but after that, it's about $250 to get this thing. So kind of a steep price to jump into it. But still, if you could be the first person on the stage, as we return to stages, using something like this, and you'll be getting it next year. It's estimated around March of 2022 to be shipping. So that is the Sony Motion Sonic. All right, there you go. Just a few quick stories to start the week off. I know that we're starting off on Tuesday after Memorial Day, but we've got plenty to talk about this week. Don't forget that I also have another new show called The Loop with Winnie and Greg, where I've teamed up with Winnie's son. That'll be on Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific. We'll be live for that. There's more of the inbox coming up this week and always stuff popping up on 2Box Media, so follow 2Box Media on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Write me directly if you want, greg@twoboxmedia.com. If you think you'd make a great interview or I should be talking about something on the show, let me know about that. Drop your comments and questions as well in whatever platform you're watching on. And thank you for doing so. We'll be back soon with another episode of The Inbox with Greg Nibbler.